we'll check on that one.
Okay.
And we'll make it official on the next show. No more Chronicle Beat, and we'll be called Out and About.
Out and About. With Brad and Tom.
Flashback Friday.
The Rogers Cable Tech. And Out and About.
Same great host, same great format, and maybe a few surprises coming up. And you never know, we might be coming to your neighborhood.
Still can't beat that.
Tim Pearson, a normal boy leading a seemingly normal existence. Cruising through his existence, Timmy became entranced and finally a slave to video games. Little did he know, his next stop would be the Twilight Zone.
Tom, this is not the Twilight Zone. At least some of the viewers out there kind of wise, but sometimes we think we're in the Twilight Zone, but we're not.
Actually, I know, I'm sorry, I should be...
You get carried away
I
sometimes.
shouldn't be fooling around, especially with a serious subject that we're... It's not really a serious subject, but you know I'm a single father, and I'll tell you, like, the video games, my kids, or my son in particular, has become totally entranced with video games. I just can't believe it. It's just unbelievable, the time he wants to spend on video games.
You think
I hear something, I go out into the living room, and Timmy's gotten up 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's playing away on the video games. It's like, what is the big attraction with this video game thing? So that's what our segment here is going to be. We're going to focus in on video games and what is the big attraction with these video games and why are kids so mesmerized, kids and adults alike, so mesmerized with video games. Whatever happened to the Game Boards and stuff like that?
Well, I notice a lot of adults are coming in a bit more of the video games too, like old games like Monopoly, and I go back as far as, say, Snakes and Ladders. People don't play them kind of games anymore, and a lot of them games have a lot of mind coordination, a lot of imagination, where they're just doing video games, just using their fingers, and it allows for more coordination. But
there's high coordination, but I mean, you get that playing baseball, hockey, anything. But the thing is, they just seem to be mesmerized by the video games. And watch this. Here's an example. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, guys, game over. Hold on, that's it. Get the game away. See what I mean? Perfect example. Now let's go find out from an expert about video games and what is the big thing with it. And let's go talk to somebody in a video game store and find out some information from them and see what the big attraction is.
Yeah, see what the big attraction is. What really comes down. Sure, let's go. Let's go out and about. Out and about.
Time to trivialize.
We're back and we're out and about at Microplay Video Games in Newmarket. Brad's here with Jerry Fiorini, and he's going to ask him a few questions. Brad?
About Jerry. Pleased to meet you. Jerry, what is the hot seller of video games so far today?
Well, in terms of systems, in Newmarket, Sega Genesis is basically #1, possibly because of the sports library it carries. I find a lot of people in Newmarket do like to play hockey, and the NHL and the NHL All-Stars happen to be the #1 sellers here, outselling even the Mortal Kombat, the NBA Jams, and any other current favorites in the other markets. The Super Nintendo is a very close second. As far as the Super Systems are concerned, 3DO wins hands down, although there is still a small but very dedicated market to the Neo Geo, which is a very high quality system also.
Yeah, that brings up to our next point. A lot of people say there's too much violence in a lot of the video games out, such as Mortal Kombat, using a scenario there. What's your opinion of really too much I'd say, violence in videos today?
The violence issue is one that has basically been come out and about ever since comic books came out in the 40s. Mad Magazine was actually banned once. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that don't really understand the difference between reality and fantasy. Video games is basically fantasy. And what you see on TV is just a game. Most of the people that do play that understand that. Of course, you will have a few loose cannons out there that have a problem separating that. And they may be influenced by anything they see or what kind of music they listen to or what kind of comic books or literature they read. For that matter, the most violent thing on TV right now is possibly the 6 o'clock news because here you have real violence.
And there's no censorship there in the 6 o'clock news.
Well, I've I've seen a lot of newscasters that they broadcast that violence is an issue because it's showing our kids this and that. Power Rangers have been banned and stuff, and they jump on the bandwagon. They say Mortal Kombat is a bad influence. Meanwhile, they trip over themselves to get the first shot of the bloody glove in the O.J. Simpson trial, and they show that about 50 times in one night. So there's a little bit of hypocrisy there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of uneducated people there that still believe that playing a violent video game is going to turn you into an axe murderer. This kind of stuff is going to go on, and there's nothing you can really do about it except educate the people.
Yes, how do really some of the video games today benefit today's consumer?
Well, there's a lot of video games that have been out ever since the 80s that don't just play games in terms of, you do this, you beat up that guy. There's games like Legend of Zelda, which teach people how to use what they've acquired smartly. For example, in Zelda, you'll have 200 credits. You have to go fight a dragon. You don't know whether or not to buy a sword or some armor or some magic herbs. And these are the decisions that, say, an 8-year-old kid is going to have to make on his own. It teaches him the value of economically constructing his resources. So he'll go out, and one kid will buy possibly a sword for more attack power against the dragon. One will buy defense like a shield. One will buy armor. One will buy magic. You see, it teaches you how to use your mind constructively and strategically. Even though you don't really think you're doing that, you're actually entering in their own world. And it's like a mini vacation. Have you ever tried to talk to someone when they're playing a video game?
Yes, we did that earlier.
It's impossible. You know why? Because when you play a game, you become almost autistic. I mean, I don't mean to make fun of that condition, but the fact of the matter is, you tune out the entire world because this little world that is created on the TV screen, you basically play God, Lord and Command, because you can control the character in any way. You can make him advance, you can make him retreat, you can do anything to them. And that's basically the best type of escapism that you can get, that money can buy. And people are buying it for as little as $80 a piece. So you can't really buy that kind of quality entertainment where you have your own little world.
Right.
And this is what it teaches people, is that in this there's responsibilities. If you do the wrong thing, you're going to lose a turn. And you have to start again.
All right. Bring us to the next point. It seems some of the, I would say, video games today are geared towards young adults and teens. Are you finding a lot of adults getting into buying and purchasing some of these video games?
Well, Brad, one of the misconceptions is that video games is a kid's market. It's not. It never has been. Actually, you may not know this, but the origin of video games is kind of in limbo. A lot of people say that we started it, but the fact of the matter is, back in 1972, there was a gentleman named John Baer who was working on a project for Magnavox in terms of he was trying to get a project where people were actively involved with their TVs, and he created a little interactive game which was ping pong, basically, beep, 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 it was going back and forth. It never really went anywhere because there was no American market for it, but a gentleman from Japan ported it over there, and he made an arcade machine of it, and he called it Pong. It came over here again, and it got packaged as a small unit where it had hockey and this table tennis. Exactly. That's where it basically got its roots. People didn't just watch the TV anymore, just turn and flip the channels. TV viewing became very heavy in the 60s and stuff because of the Vietnam War. So a lot of people got used to sitting down and just watching TV. This actually got people involved into playing and to doing things. Now the Atari system came out, and then the Gemini, and then you've got the ColecoVision and television. They came out in about 1982. The market dropped from $300 million almost overnight. The market fell very drastically. That was due to a lot of systems and a lot of bad games. There's just too many systems on the market. People didn't know which ones to buy. They're very expensive. The game E.T. sold for almost $100, and it wasn't that good a game. As a matter of fact, there's many industry standards that will say that that's the game that actually caused the crash. Atari went from a $300 million a year industry and almost lost everything overnight. In 1985, in June, Nintendo comes out with this AMA unit, which they renamed from the Famicom in North America to the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's that's where we got our basic foundations for the second generation. Nintendo Entertainment System grew within the next 10 years. Actually, 3 months later, Sega came out with the Master System. There's other systems that came out at the time too, but it was mostly Nintendo. They really took the market by storm, and they actually made it part of the American culture. It's now a staple in the culture in North America, because if you look around, if you ask anyone, everyone's got some sort of video game entertainment machine at home, be it on Atari or on a television or a Nintendo or a 3DO or a Neo Geo, whichever it is. If you don't have one yourself, you know 5 out of every 7 people you know will have one. So it's more common than, see, even a microwave oven is right now. It's not as common as a VCR, but yeah, it's getting there.
Here and Out and About, we always have exclusives coming up, always something new happening in the community, and we have a very exclusive system being brought out in the market today. And with us to tell us a little bit more about that system is Jerry of Microplay.
Yeah, this is Jerry from Microplay Video Games, and what we're about to show you here is the Sony Play Station. This system is so new, it's not even available in stores here in North America. This guy's going to be coming in September, I believe, this year, and it's such a remarkable system, it's actually got Sega and Nintendo worried about their technology. This is a sample of what you're going to be playing later on this year, hopefully by Christmas. Sony Play Station in action. Toshinden is one of the games that's going to be featured with the PlayStation. Another one is Ridge Racer. You're going to be getting quite a few other games from Kiliak the Blood to Motor Tune Grand Prix. Here's a sample of the ease of the gameplay. This is one of the controllers. It's going to be modified for North American hands. This is a little bit small for us, but this is basically what the system utilizes. That's what it looks like, and it's a CD-based system. You can see the graphics are very superior. No, this is not an arcade game, it's a home game. And it plays with great ease. The reason being is that they want everybody to be able to play these games, from seniors to children.
Another new feature that we feature here on Out and About are the top singles, box office, TV shows, and video sales. We're going to start off with the top 3 singles. It is Take a Bow by Madonna, number 1. Number 2, On Bended Knee by Boyz II Men. Number 3, You Don't Know How It Feels by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Next we go to the box office. Number 1 is Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman. Number 2, Tony Todd with Candyman 2. And number 3, everybody's favorite, Chevy Chase in Man of the House. Next one, we're going to go to the top TV shows. Number 1, Seinfeld. Number 2, Home Improvement. And number 3, Grace Under Fire. And also, Walt Disney tops the top video sales this week. Number 1 is Lion King. Number 2, Snow White. And number 3 are The Little Rascals. And before we wrap up tonight's show, why don't we go back to Tom Pearson with a wrap-up of upcoming community events right here on Out and About.
Thank you, Brad. Actually, you know what? I was sent a memo here. I've got it, and it is about a chicken wing eating contest. It's to be held at Eastside Mario's, April 10th. Sounds like it's going to be a great time. There's going to be the media there, the banks, car dealerships, social service agencies. They're all going to be competing, and what the idea is to get pledges. They send us pledge sheets, get pledges, and they're raising money for the United Way and also for Leader Place, which is a new facility just on the outskirts of Newmarket. It's for homeless families, families that have no place to go. Leader Place, United Way. It's a great cause. April 10th. And Eastside Mario's. I'd just like to say I've got a pledge already. LC Chalks in Newmarket was happy to donate $100 pledge. I'd like to challenge any hospitality industry people out there. Meet that $100 or beat it or better, and it goes to a great cause. And if you're not doing anything April 10th, come on out to Eastside Mario's, and we'll be out and about. We'll be there, and come on out, have a great night out, eat some wings, and watch the action, have lots of fun. Out and about. See you next time.
Flashback Friday production.
In your mother's kitchen, the plates were broken. We ripped each other.
Now, I know she got a black eye.
Well,
Now,
I'll tell you, I was, my trainer took me into a barn. There was 3,000 chickens in there. And let me tell you something. Once word got out to these chickens that I was in there for a chicken wing eating contest, yeah, well, you know what I mean. Well, chickens one-on-one, no problem. 3,000 to 1, I don't know. You know what I mean?
that going to affect any of your wing eating contest?
Hey, I can do wings anytime. You know what I mean? It's a great cause. Leader Place, homeless families, United Way, Eastside Marios. Check this out.